In the news this week, public outrage over a paralysed police constable's ex-gratia payment threatens the Liberal Party.
Plus, suicide prevention strategies under scrutiny after another Aboriginal youth commits suicide.
And on Western Perspective, the cost of duty for police officers on the front line in Western Australia.
This is the Evening News with Ivan Lung and Daniel Staniskov.
Good evening. The medically retired WA Police Officers Association is outraged after disabled constable Ryan Marron received a less than adequate ex-gratia payment. In an exclusive interview, President David Bentley says the association may threaten to campaign on Liberal Party marginal seats if the government fails to introduce workers' compensation for officers.
The family of Constable Ryan Marron has asked for $12 million in an ex-gratia payment following his condition after contracting a mosquito-borne virus. Do you think that $12 million is a reasonable amount?
It is a fair and reasonable amount to care for a person who's trapped in his own body and will be for the rest of his life.
Now, this is a statement from the WA Police Union. On it, there is a heads of damage where it lists an itemised amount costs for each section or for each amount. Now that you've seen these figures, what do you make of the $5.5 million in light of these costs along with the trustee fee, which is $1 million?
I think the government's offer is adding insult to injury already sustained by Ryan Marron. It's actually unconscionable conduct on their behalf.
Given the lack of compensation for police officers, are you concerned that with WA Police's efforts in stepping up recruiting, and particularly when there isn't compensation offered to them?
I think that the public ought to know that the conduct of the government and the police department itself at the moment is clearly misleading applicants. It is scandalous that this has been festering for the last 30 years. I have to say that this particular workers' compensation issue has the potential to bring down this current government, because at the next election due in March the 17th next year, this will be a very hard fought and very public campaign by us, by the police union and by lots of families of officers who have already been affected by this particular legislation. And we will target those particular members in seats that are quite marginal.
The suicide of a 10-year-old Aboriginal girl in a remote regional community has created shockwaves around the nation. Experts have urged the government to take more action as Aboriginal children are 5 times more likely to commit suicide.
This girl was the youngest of 19 Indigenous people who took their own lives in regional Western Australia since December last year. Mental Health Minister Helen Morton said the girl had been exposed to quite a level of accumulated harm and trauma over her very short life. While a report looking into suicide prevention programs is due mid this year, activist Jerry Georgatos says a royal commission is needed.
We have a humanitarian crisis, and the only way forward, because of the fact that political reform is not being willed, that we continue to neglect people into abject poverty.
Dylan Webstain, WAMN News.
Former Defence Minister Stephen Smith broke his silence and said he's willing to lead WA Labor if the party wants him to. His comment comes after former federal opposition leader and Australian diplomat Kim Beazley remained tight-lipped about whether he has offered advice to Mr Smith on the issue of state politics. Meanwhile, Mark McGowan has refused to answer questions regarding the future of potential candidates for the seat of Baldivis.
And were we to have any discussion about state politics at all, I would not tell you. Because one of the joys about being a pensioner is I don't have to anymore.
Oh look, I'm just unaware of Stephen standing for any electorate at all. I'll make comments about Baldivis at some point in time in the future. Why would you not?
Illicit drugs, weapons, cash and stolen property have been seized by the Kensington Police after an ongoing investigation towards the South East drug distribution network. The investigation has led to 8 search warrants executed in Welshpool, East Perth, Joondalup and Mirrabooka on Thursday. 7 commercial properties, 1 residential property and a $400,000 bank account have been restrained pending further investigation. Police have charged 7 people and inquiries are continuing in relation to other outstanding persons.
Former Republican candidate Ben Carson has announced he will endorse Donald Trump during a press conference in Florida. Florida is the main state for the 2016 presidential nomination race, and Mr. Trump is currently leading the polls. Meanwhile, a campaign against Donald Trump is gaining momentum as he defends an anti-Islam statement he made during a live televised debate on CNN.
The Australian Transport Safety Bureau has announced the search for missing flight MH370 will end in July this year. The discussion about the mystery was reignited after the flight disappeared 2 years this week. It's unlikely the search area will be widened as Australia, Malaysia and China have spent close to $100 million scanning the ocean floor for the wreckage.
And finally tonight, the City of Fremantle has managed to raise more than $1,200 with its spare change collection point despite the project's controversy. The money raised will go directly to St Patrick's Community Support Centre, who support homelessness communities in Fremantle.
We want to really get to the causes and the heart of the issue rather than simply throwing money at a problem and not really starting to solve it. These are real people's lives that they're trying to put back together, and I think the Fremantle community wants to be part of that solution.
And before we leave you tonight, Taylor will be keeping my chair warm for the next few weeks. I look forward to seeing you again here at the news desk after my holidays.
So where are you going, Danny?
The USA.
Ooh,
so excited.
What about the Big Apple?
Yep, looking forward to it.
You're looking forward to it? That's wonderful. I wish I were you, but I'll keep my own chair warm as well. But at the meantime, those are the stories you need to know this week. We have the latest news on our website and Facebook. Here's Dylan Webstein with Western Perspective. Good night.
Good night.
Thanks, Ivan and Danielle. Hello, I'm Dylan Webstein, and welcome to Western Perspective.